The dizziness had passed. The dog darted around the coffee table and tugged playfully at Keegan's trouser leg. Keegan cursed and shook his leg free. "Nobody likes a morning person," he told the dog. Then he shuffled in the direction of the back door, working the aches out of his legs and willing his blood to circulate. What day was it, anyway? The dog sprinted ahead of him, claws skittering on the oak floorboards, and disappeared into the kitchen. Keegan plodded after her. The dog had been his mother's constant companion in her final years, but his own apartment quad had rules against pets. Eventually he'd have to take out an ad in the Times Classifieds or cart the poor mutt down to the Eagle Rock Pound. But, hell, there were so many other raveled strands of his mother's life left for him to knot up. Her dog would have to wait. When Keegan got to the kitchen doorway, Nora pressed her nose to the crack beneath the back door and pawed at the weather stripping. He unlocked the deadbolt and pulled the door open for her, and she rocketed down the back steps, scattering finches from the rosemary hedge. Keegan left the door standing wide and went over to rinse his face at the kitchen sink. If the forecast was right, it would be another brutally hot day. But for now, the breeze that seeped in through the door felt cool. Keegan had been in a funk an entire week now. It started last Monday morning, when he heard over KNX that Marilyn Monroe had died. He'd been sitting in the chair at the Owl barber shop when the announcement was made, and the news hit him like a sucker punch. He looked down at the silvery clippings gathering on the lap of the barber's cape and felt something like a swelling in his throat. He hadn't particularly liked the woman. In truth, he'd only seen 2 or 3 of her movies. But he'd glimpsed her once, or so he thought, getting out of a black Fleetwood in the alley behind the Formosa Cafe. He'd been waiting in a line of cars to turn onto Santa Monica Boulevard when she caught his eye. She wore beige slacks and a black turtleneck. He caught sight of her face then, with the turn of her head, that platinum sweep of hair. She disappeared inside, followed by an older man in a pinstripe suit, and the door had closed behind them. That perfect face. Just the briefest glimpse of it. Keegan didn't tell a soul, but he'd felt oddly buoyant the rest of that day. The news that Marilyn was gone, and a day or 2 later that she'd likely taken her own life, was a trap door he'd fallen through. He wasn't stupid. He knew on some level that it was his own mother he was grieving. She'd died the Tuesday before, and it had taken him a while to get clear of the numb, mechanical days leading up to her funeral. Days full of phone calls and visits and countless small decisions about what the old woman would have wanted. The grief had hit him late, he supposed, in the form of a movie star and a bottle of Nembutal, like the sonic boom that rattled the window panes after the jet was already out of sight. Keegan dried his face on a dish towel and went to his mother's wall phone by the refrigerator. His phone now, he reminded himself. He dialed the number of his office downtown. While the phone rang, he pulled a chair from the kitchen table and dropped into it, taking the weight off his knees. Mrs. Dodd, his secretary, had kept the office open all last week while Keegan crisscrossed the city, running down all his mother's lapses and loose ends. Shit. He still hadn't ordered a headstone. The phone rang 6 times before Mrs. Dodd picked up. "Any point in coming in today?" Keegan asked. "You don't sound so good, boss," Mrs. Dodd informed him, in that nasally Queen's accent she had somehow picked up from her husband. "You hanging in there?" Keegan kneaded his temples. Hanging. A hangover. There was probably a quip to be made, but it was too much effort and he wasn't up to it. "Any business I need to worry about?" "One new call," Mrs. Dodd said. "It came in early. Almost missed it. I told him you were taking a few days off, but he was very—" "He who?"